Welcome to the Calm Corner podcast. My name is Elisa, and I'm your host of this podcast and the creator of the mindfulness blog and website, calmcorner.com. This podcast is for female empaths and highly sensitive people who want to experience more joy and peace in their daily life with themselves and in their relationships. In this podcast, you'll hear stories to help connect and inspire, tools to help promote calm and joy in everyday life, such as mindfulness, self care, relationship spirituality, and guided meditations to decrease stress. Thanks for being here, and let's go right ahead. Hi, Calmies. Today we're going to be talking about how to make work work for you. So, we're roughly 3 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, and according to Pew Research Center survey, about a third of workers with jobs that can be done remotely are working from home all of the time. And with that survey, 41% of those with jobs that can be done remotely are choosing to work a hybrid schedule. So, working from home some of the days and from the office. And there's certainly drawbacks, pros and cons to each of the decision. For me, as someone who has been a clinician for almost a decade, and then during the pandemic, pivoting right away from occupational therapy and uh, growing more interested in the administrative side of things. I can share a little bit more in case some of you who are clinicians or who are wanting to perhaps work from home more or a hybrid schedule. As a clinician, it can be very hard not to be in person. And I understand that this won't apply to every single one of you, but I'd like to also share my experience and some of the pros and cons as well of being able to work from home. So, first, you need to know your needs and values, right? Because it's important to identify what you're going to be putting up with. What are your non negotiables? What are you looking for in a job? Is it to have the work flexibility, have a certain kind of flexible schedule? Is it to work remotely all of the time or some of the time? Right? So being able to identify your non-negotiables and what you'd be willing to put up with would help you get clear. So take the time to journal it out, get clear about what you'd like to do, and don't be so hung up on the job title. We want to get clear on some of the skill sets that you may need to develop now that would lead you to your desired job in the future. It is possible, okay? Um, that being said, your job does not need to be your passion in life or your life purpose, right? You just need to be curious enough to find out more, to try something new, perhaps. It does take vulnerability and courage, but you need to be strategic as well, right? um, Knowing that you can't expect a job to be your passion. It's great if it's your passion, it's your vocation, but it doesn't need to be. And maybe it's just enough to pay the bills, and that's okay too. Um, yeah, so checking in on your mental health, what you'd be willing to put up with, and knowing that your job does not need to be your passion. Once you identified those, kind of sit down and look at the skill sets, right? Maybe check into the different jobs that are out there, looking at the skill sets. And now you may need to do some investment upfront to grow the skills that you need. Maybe it's in UX design, project management, change management, coaching. So you want to be able to learn some of these hard skills as well. And looking at how to get those skills, right? Maybe it's starting with the library, starting to network and talk to people who have done it. So, yes, it may require cold calling or reaching out to people on LinkedIn, or someone from your high school who who are doing the job that you're interested in. So, don't be afraid of rejection, because you'll end up in the same place, right? Even if you don't reach out, you'll be at the same place. So do reach out, and if that person ignores you, it is okay, right? You will survive. So I trust you. Do the hard things, right? You can do the hard things. All right. In terms of the next tip here, for those of you who are in a current work setup that allows for some flexibility, talk to your supervisor, right? Be transparent about your interest in growing into a different direction. Consider being upfront. And I understand if you don't have the psychological safety to talk to your supervisor, that may make your life harder. So, if you have a trustworthy supervisor, someone who you feel comfortable in sharing a little bit more about what you're looking for, that can pay off. For me, I can share that when I do share openly with my supervisor, um, the result has been positive. They are able to support me in my endeavors. And from being able to pivot within the past few years from a clinician working 100% of the time in the nursing home to being able to work remotely some of the time, to now being able to do that full time is such an incredible blessing. So perhaps talking to your supervisor about your desire, your interests in moving in a different direction, and seeing if there are opportunities at work to gain those skills. Maybe you are wanting to go more into the quality improvement, right? Working with numbers, perhaps, or doing some research, seeing if there's an opportunity in your current role or organization to do those. So, for example, my organization, every employee has a free access to LinkedIn Learning subscription, and that allows you to take classes at your own pace, so to really grow your skills. Some other resources might be edX or Coursera, which are free as well. So it's about being disciplined and figuring out what you're interested in, sticking with the schedule to make sure that you're moving into the direction that you're interested in. Again, you can do it. This is an investment for sure, but you are choosing you, and you're trying to figure out how to make work for you instead of you working for work, right? And be sure to tap into certain resources such as employee assistance program as well, because as you go through these transitions, right, perhaps leaving the profession, pivoting, right, there can be a lot of difficult emotions that come up. I certainly experience guilt as being one of them. So I found that talking to a counselor during these times of transitions really help as well. So consider the resources that you have, and taking a chance on growing your support system during this time as well. And in terms of support, network with others, reach out within your community, or create a new community, right? And thinking about, maybe there are professional groups in person or online, such as through Facebook, LinkedIn, Meetup, that you can start to meet people who are thinking the same things as you and wanting to pivot or transition. Again, this is a reminder, you are not alone, and definitely it's going to take some time. So be patient, but know that lean onto your network as well. And lastly, once you know what you want, you've gained enough skills, don't be afraid to apply, even if you don't meet all of the criteria of the job, right? So apply widely, Before I got into the VA, I have tried 2 years to try to get into the VA system, and I have certainly faced with a lot of silence and rejection. Got a few interviews, but didn't work out. So it took me 2 years before I got my foot in the door. So I want to encourage you to don't give up, apply widely. Again, know your non-negotiables, right? Maybe it's the work flexibility schedule, benefits, paid leave, etc. And knowing that, if your desire, for example, is to work from home, there are drawbacks, right? There will be not as many opportunities to connect with your coworkers or to run into them in the break room. I definitely miss that. I miss the often small talk yet meaningful talks that I've had with my coworkers in the break room that really made me feel more connected and a better sense of belonging at work. But again, maybe this is a reminder to be more proactive, right? That I also join employee wellness groups to reach out to others to connect virtually. So, again, put yourself out there and don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Um, and that I believe that you can make work for you. Okay. All right. And, share your interests with your friends, family, coworkers, and see maybe they can be the eyes and ears in sending you your next job, right? So do try it out and let me know how it goes. I believe in you. All right. Have a beautiful day. All right, that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. For more information, please visit calmcorner.com. And to download a freebie as a thank you, please go to calmcorner.com/freebie to download some goodies. The password to get to the site is calmjoy. All right, see you in the next one. Have a beautiful day.